Hello and welcome to another video of Digital Traffic Off Go. Today, as you can probably tell, we're at the National Railway Museum in York, stood in front of arguably the greatest steam engine that ever went on the rails. 4468, the Mallard, the fastest steam engine in the world. Holds the record still to this day. But as much as I love seeing this, we're not actually here to see that. We're here to see a different engine, run by the same company, but it's celebrating its 100th year. It's been in a few videos on this channel, and it's making its return today. It's the Flying Scotsman. No matter how many times I see that beautiful thing, I still can't get over the fact that it is the fastest steam engine ever. And it is my favourite locomotive. It even beats a Voyager. And as much as I love a Voyager, I love that more. The way it just stands by itself. It's pretty nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look round and then go inside the North Shed and see the beautiful Flying Scotsman. Now this one looks very similar to the Mallard, but it was ran by the London Midland Scottish Railway. I do love the decal though, it looks very, very nice. That is the Duchess of Hamilton. That one was built at Doncaster. This one built slightly closer to me, in Crewe. Number 6229. And it's nice to see that they're in their original decals and not the British Rail colours. Quite a few engines, when British Rail took over, were taken out of their colour schemes that they had when they were brand new and built and put in British Rail green. But I don't think the Mallard would look as good as it does with its red wheels if it didn't have a blue coat. And I think that just looks really nice. Maroon, gold and black wheels. Green and black, not a fan. Red and black, no. Since we were last here, the National Railway Museum in York is going under a bit of what I would probably call a facelift. You see, normally there was the station shed and the Great Hall and the North Shed. But today, they were filming 1st of April 2023. It's not got the station hall. It's currently being revamped. In fact, I'll show you now. There's the Intercity 125. That was on the turntable last time we were here. There's the Eurostar. And that was used to where we could walk through to the station hall, but as you can see, it's closed. Part of their Vision 2025 redevelopment programme. I've seen the plans for that and it looked brilliant. And you can guarantee in 2025, when it's all finished, I'll be back. But it's just nice just to see, you know, they've moved the shops over here, so the shop's still here. It's got Flying Scotsman memorabilia all over the place. I'll have to put a picture of it now. But it's weird that, like, only the Mallard and Flying Scotsman have, like, merch. I mean, I'd love Eurostar merch or Kansan merch. Now, there's one place in the Great Hall which gives you some of the best views of what's in the Great Hall. And it's all right on top of the Mallard. This is probably one of the best views of trains that you can get. In fact, just peeking over the top is a copy of the rocket. And there is Mr. Stevenson. Over there we've got what was used to help build the Channel Tunnel. The Eurostar next to it that currently is going through the Channel Tunnel. And the 125 next to it. The Shinkansen. Evening Star. A few diesels. And you get a great view of Mallard, where all its coal went in the tender and the cab. Now there is the front of what Transport and Express have as the Nova and what LNER have as the Azuma. Now these are built by Hitachi, and basically they used developments in the bullet train and British high-speed trains combined together to make this. Sadly you can't get in it, but here is what I saw when I got it out of Leeds. One painted the LNER colour scheme. And as TP Express and LNER are the same sort of train, it's very hard to split them, like which one you prefer, Nova or Azuma. But I've got to say, I do prefer the Nova. Probably because I don't see the Azuma that often because I live on the other side of the Pennines. But here is the train that started it all. Stevenson's Rocket. First ever railway line was the Manchester to Liverpool line. And if you travel down from Manchester to Liverpool today, you actually go down parts of the line that were used during the speed trials. Amazing how we went from 1829 to 2023 and the difference in trains. And it all started thanks to this and that amazing man. Now you're probably thinking, what makes that locomotive so special? Well, if we come to the side of where the rocket is, it tells you. The last 2,000 horsepower diesel locomotive between London and Norwich. I think it deserves its place here. They do swap out the engines from time to time as to what goes on here and what is left in its static display. I've not seen Mallard on here yet, but could you imagine one day I turn up here and Mallard's on here? Have you ever wondered what the inside of one of those looks like? Well, in case you have, the National Railway Museum in York have hooked you right up. Also, I like this is taking a side off, and this is the innards.
So your gas is coming through from the fire, through these pipes, and then coming to the front switch off. Okay.
That's the part we all see when they shovel the coal in. And that's where all the coal sits. Now, I know the inside of a locomotive looks really nice, but of course there's always under a train, but I mean, as you can see, you can't exactly get under these, can you? Well, not exactly. And obviously you won't want to be under here when all this is actually moving, but there we go. Now, the National Railway Museum in York, yes, it does have the Mallard, which in itself is steam locomotive royalty, but you need a bit of diesel royalty, don't you? Well, again, National Railway Museum in York have got some of that as well. 47798, otherwise known as Prince William. But what I do like is this at the front end, or the rear end, depending which way around it's going. It still has the insignia of the late Queen Elizabeth II. But let's go and see what we came here to see, what this video is all about. Inside the North Shed is the Flying Scotsman. And if you look through the grates, you can actually see it. There aren't many sights better than that.
You're sweating because you... And then it's all... No, I've done it. Yeah. I was lucky enough to be on Scotsman in the 80s. And like you say, you get home and just see your hair, it's in your eyes, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. No, I was a 5. And that was only because the Apple grade was 4472, the old number. Yeah, you owned it. Part owned it.
Having seen that in Steam a few times, King's Cross and the East Lancashire Railway, being able to stand on it is a different feeling altogether. Here's a picture now of what it looks like when you stood right in the middle. Unbelievable. It's 100 years old and it looks brand new. Just proves when you restore something correctly, it can look timeless. I mean, yes, they've had to like separate it from the tender, but when you look down, they couldn't really tell, apart from that gantry there. But it is in its British Rail green with its British Rail number. I'll put up its other number now as well. It is just spectacular. This can still run. And it kind of makes me upset really a bit, you know, the fact that Mallard can't because of a bust boiler, but it would cost too much to replace. But seeing that in Steam and then seeing it here is just beautiful. In 2006, the NRM launched an appeal to save this train, this beautiful steam engine. Unfortunately, it was successful. Now, when you think of the Flying Scotsman, you just think it's just a British train. Well, look what the National Railway Museum received from Switzerland. And there's a copy of the letter there. It's just one of those engines that everyone knows the name of. You say Flying Scotsman, everyone knows you're talking about that steam engine. And it's just beautiful to see it stood here proud. and to have also seen it in steam as well, I mean, that is just beautiful. Shows its surprised engine, it's wanted all over the world. But hopefully the National Railway Museum will hold it for many, many years to come. Because no matter how many times you see the Flying Scotsman, it just leaves a special imprint, because how many more steam engines do you see? I mean, yes, I've seen Tornado, and I've seen that in steam, but there's not really many left. And if I ever got the chance to be in one being pulled by the Flying Scotsman, you know as well as I do, I'm taking that chance. Well, when I went to the viaduct to see it and it was just Tornado, I was like, where's Scotsman? But we've seen it a fair few times, and to see it here today was just beautiful. And do you know what? All it costs, and you can get it for free, but I did give some money to the National Railway Museum in York as well, because they definitely deserve it. The railways over the past few years have been under severe stress with the pandemic and everything like that. But to see the National Railway Museum open and doing its redevelopment plans, which I'll put a link to in the description down below as well, with the Flying Scotsman taking pride of place in the North Shed, it's beautiful. So, National Railway Museum in York, next to a station that has the bridge from Harry Potter. Yep, the bridge that you see Hagrid and Harry walk across in King's Cross is not in King's Cross, it's in York. But that's not the only thing in York that's from Harry Potter. They have the platform sign as well. Little Easter egg in the National Railway Museum there. Platform 9 3/4. The only station with a fraction in. But if you try and get to it today, unfortunately at King's Cross you can't. Oh well. But like, even if you haven't got tickets for the Flying Scotsman, still come in the North Shed. I mean, look at that. Just wall to wall train. This is my perfect idea of a garage. I don't think I could afford it though, to be fair. Oh yes, can I have one of your models please? Yes, that'll be several £1,000s. No. But it's still a wonderful place to walk around. Wow. Wow. That was special. To stand on Flying Scotsman, because I will never get that chance again. You know, next time I see it, it'll be in steam, and the guys like to say to the driver, "Oh, can I just step on a minute?" That was just amazing. A massive thank you to the National Railway Museum in York, and National Railway Museum as a whole, for making that possible. It is probably an engineering marvel. I mean, I do love, you know, my Novas, my Azumas, and my Voyagers, but there's something just a little bit more special about a steam engine. Especially that steam engine. So we're going to have a look at a slightly smaller railway. And I mean smaller in terms of scale. Yeah, why not? Now there is the front end of a Class 373, or as it's more commonly known, the Eurostar. This style of train is slowly being replaced. In fact, next time I go to St Pancras, which I don't know when that will be, I'll see if there's actually any left. But these were the originals that linked Britain to France and mainland Europe. And those were the trains that linked the rest of Britain. The Class 125s. In fact, there's an idea for my 300 subs video. England to France on a train. I'm up for that. That'll be quite fun. Be expensive, but it'd be fun. I might need to take the missus on that one though. I know this is like miles off because I think we're on 210 at the minute, but imagine if I got to 1,000. What should I do for that? Flying Scotsman, Tornado, Orient Express, all valid choices, but I think there's one train that I think even my missus would love to go on. The only problem with that is, to go on it, I need to get to Japan. And you're probably thinking, Paul, what train are you going to get on that only runs in Japan? Well, that one. The Shinkansen. Otherwise known as the bullet train. Obviously because of the shape. But, I mean, I've watched videos on YouTube of one of these things going through a station, and it is quick. I would love to go on one of these. In fact, it is actually on my bucket list to go on a Shinkansen past Mount Fuji, because I've seen pictures of that as well, and that looks pretty spectacular as well. Now, as fast as one of those is, Japan's known for, you know, making things a bit quicker. Well, they've now got an idea of using maglev technology, making them reach 311 miles an hour. I can't imagine going 311 miles an hour. Imagine that. That is quick. I mean, considering Mallard goes 126, it's over double. Crazy. I mean, they don't look like that anymore. They're more like a duck-billed platypus at the front. It's got a very sloped front. But still, incredibly quick. And that behind me isn't British. That is Russian. Yep, a Russian-built steam engine. Now, look how big the wheels are. And just to give you an idea as to how tall they actually are, I'm going to flip the camera around now and look at this. I fit right underneath it. That's impressive, considering I can't fit under any other train here. Shows you how big that train actually is. So I love the National Railway Museum. I mean, yes, some of the trains are beautiful, but you just see like old and new trains perfectly mixed together. And it just shows you just the speed of which it's all been achieved in just over 125 years. Crazy. But no matter how old I get and how old it gets, Mallard will still be my favourite train. So just to show you the scope of the works, they've got four-way controls here till November 2023. Is that when stage one's finished? We used to be able to sit in there. There's the Great Hall. think that's going to need a refit when it's finished. There's York Station. We did a video there last year. I'll put the link to that video in the description down below. It's got all the arrows pointing that way. So the new entrance is down there. It's amazing how close it is though, because like when you get a train from here to Newcastle, you actually go past where the Flying Scotsman is actually housed at the minute. Just gonna go across here. I know as a red man, don't have a go at me in the comments. Restricted access, even I'm not even a YouTuber like me is not allowed in there. Shame. There's the walkway to the train station. And here is where you normally went in. As you can see, transformation in progress. Museum entrance, conference centre. And that was the station hall. And I've got to be honest, I can't actually wait to see what that actually looks like when it's all finished. I think that's going to look absolutely spectacular when it's all done. You can just see the old entrance, and the shop is literally was just around that corner there. So, in front of the remodelling of the station shed and the old entrance to the National Railway Museum, unfortunately, it's time to end today's video. I do hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Being able to stand on Scotsman's footplate, seeing it without steam, and also seeing Mallard as well. That's all. That train means a lot to me, more than probably most of them. But unfortunately, that is the end. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button and miss a new video. And me in the coffee cup will see you in the next one.